it's not just a bunch of crazy people doing crazy things. These are hardcore believers. They're attracting hardcore believers. And this is going to be a very serious problem for the foreseeable future.
Pentagon officials say that they're taking precautions tonight after ISIS releases the names, addresses, and pictures of 100 United States service members. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
It's a story that we've been updating for you all day. The group urges their followers in America to strike back against those on the hit list, a list including a number of North Dakotans. And government officials and scholars both say the threat that ISIS poses cannot be ignored.
Valley News Team's Bradford Eric looks into the tactics ISIS now uses to urge supporters around the world to rise up.
Social media is the 21st century pulpit for radicals. It's cheap, easy to use, and the best way for ISIS to get worldwide attention.
Now they're radicalized at home on their laptop or on their tablet. They're watching these videos on their own, and there isn't anyone else there, a structure in place to tell them you should not go down this path.
And that makes it extremely effective at recruiting. It's also the reasoning why ISIS chose the internet to release this hit list, urging followers to kill them wherever you find them. Among the names lie 7 North Dakotans, all from the Minot Air Force Base. Other military forces in North Dakota, not necessarily named targets, are also on high alert, though. The Grand Forks Air Force Base said the Air Force is cooperating fully with the DoD on this matter. As always, force protection is a primary concern. In Fargo, Colonel Kent Olson, commander of the 119th Wing of the North Dakota Air National Guard, says they remain vigilant at the base and encourage base personnel to not share much on social media. But he wouldn't get into specifics when it came to questions of increased security.
I'm not sure we're really prepared to deal with this kind of new world order in which everything's a battlefield and there's always a real potential for violence.
Dr. Ambrosio explains there's an end result ISIS wants to accomplish beyond fear.
In 1996, Bill Clinton had a great campaign ad, or campaign slogan, which was, we're going to build a bridge to the 21st century. Wonderful. They want to build a bridge back to the Middle Ages. And that is their ideology.
In Fargo, Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
We are not naming the servicemen who are threatened out of concern for their safety. A spokesperson for U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp says she's reached out to military forces in North Dakota and is working closely with the Department of Defense to ensure service members are protected.
And we've been updating this story all day for you. And you can stay on top of this story by liking us on our Facebook page. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. In our weather department, a quiet and cooler start to our first week of spring, but will it continue tonight? Let's find out with Hutch Johnson. Hutch, what do you have for us?
Well, not a lot of change as we go through the evening. It's been a gray day and for some a snowy day once again. 36 degrees right now in the FM area. Winds gusting from that warm southerly direction, though, over 20 miles per hour. Here's a look at the radar. We had snow earlier that fell in northeast North Dakota, northwest Minnesota, even some snowfall reports as high as 2 to 4 inches. Look at it warm up. Jamestown, you're 36, but it's 10 degrees warmer. Maybe not bad for a bicycle ride in Carrington tonight. Here's a look at your planning forecast. For Fargo-Moorhead, I think we stay in the 30s all evening. Winds still from the south, pretty brisk, over 20 miles per hour at times. It does look like we'll have a spring system of stormy weather heading our way. It does promise to bring some wet weather, but will that wet weather be white in your neighborhood? I'll have details on that spring storm here in just a few moments.
Can't believe it, the end of March it's happening.
That's right. It could snow.
All right. Thanks, Hutch. Well, a reminder to residents in Moorhead, police are holding a community meeting tonight about 2 level 3 sex offenders who moved to town. Phoebus Apollo's living in the 700 block of 8th Street South, and Alan Jamgosian's permanently living in Fargo, but lists a second address in the 800 block of 23rd Avenue South in Moorhead. A community meeting is 7 o'clock tonight at the Concordia Knutson Campus Center.
For Love of Dog Rescue in Fargo is asking for your help following what appears to be a stabbing over the weekend. We want to show you a picture of Wilford. He was taken to the shelter after being found with multiple stab wounds made by an object about 7 inches long. He's in stable condition, but his prognosis is guarded, which means he's not out of the woods yet. If you have any information on what might have happened, you're asked to contact the Cass County Sheriff's Office. And if you'd like to help Wilford financially, we've posted a link to For Love of Dogs donation site.
A controversial trial that stirred up a lot of emotions has been delayed. West Fargo teacher Aaron Knodel is accused of having sexual relations with a student, and now the trial that was expected to begin tomorrow has been postponed after prosecutors added a second handwriting expert to their witness list. The defense filed a motion with the court asking the judge to have the new handwriting witness to not testify or more time to prepare for the witness.
The driver of a semi was pretty lucky after hitting a vertical concrete pillar along Interstate 94 this afternoon. 62-year-old Robert Olson of Horace was traveling eastbound on I-94, roughly about 20 miles west of Jamestown, when he drove off the lane, across the right shoulder, and into the south ditch. He narrowly avoided a guardrail and then drove up an embankment and struck the vertical concrete pillar with the left front of the semi. Olson indicated he may have fallen asleep. Damage was estimated to be around $50,000.
The man charged with murdering a rural Viking, Minnesota man last week will remain in a Devil's Lake jail for now. Ray Little Wolf appeared in Devil's Lake court today but declined to waive extradition to face charges in Warren, Minnesota. Little Wolf said that he wants to meet with his attorney first. He's applied for a court-appointed attorney and remains in jail on a bond of $1 million. Little Wolf, who is from Devil's Lake, faces counts of second and third-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter in the death of Ronald Foss.
Nearly 6,000 students in Minnesota are paying student loans at a rate that's illegal, and the Minnesota Attorney General is taking action against Globe University. The lawsuit says that the university is pressuring students into loans and charging more than double the legal interest rate. Minnesota's Attorney General Lori Swanson says on top of that, the university isn't a licensed lender.
Oftentimes will be the first loan they've taken out. You know, they haven't really had familiarity with kind of the lending process, and the school is taking advantage of their dreams.
The case against Globe University is set to go to trial in November. The lawsuit is asking for a change in practices, a fine, and getting money back to students. We reached out to the university today, but have not heard back.
Minnesota is paying for the state's roads and bridges. Assistant House Majority Leader Deb Keel of Crookston visited Moorhead today to outline how they're going to do that, using $7 billion over the next 10 years. The money would come from taxes already in place, the state's general fund, and bonding. Governor Dayton says the Republican plan is not sustainable, and he's backing a gas tax increase to pay for it. But a new Minneapolis Tribune poll finds the gas tax increase is not very popular among state residents, particularly in out-of-state Minnesota.
Everybody wants us to fix the roads and bridges, but if we can figure out a sustainability plan that is more consistent, I believe the poll stated that there was close to 80% that would support a sustainability plan that would not increase taxes.
Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton says the Republican proposal takes money from one pocket and puts it into another, as opposed to coming up with the new money dedicated to roads and bridges. A Northern Valley grandmother is using the power of the internet to help with her granddaughter's medical bills on the other side of the country. Cheryl Thompson is using GoFundMe.com, a free online service to help her granddaughter and family in Utah. Her granddaughter, Eva, who lives in Salt Lake City, was born without an esophagus attached to her stomach. Now, after 25 surgeries and over $1 million in medical costs paid by insurance, the not covered costs have already piled up to over $10,000.
Very susceptible to becoming sick. And so in this picture, she was probably about 3 months old.
So far, $1,600 has been raised online. If you'd like to help Ava or learn how to set up your own crowdfunding site, just go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story to learn how. Later on Valley News Live at 6, gardeners are eager to get going this spring. We're going to have a few tips to help you get your green thumb going.
Some real flaky weather to start your springtime. I'll have details on some more wet weather heading our way. Some of us could get significant snow while others get mainly rain. Details are next.